What Princess Anne has to say about Canada, the upcoming coronation, and the future of the throne. Thanks for making time for us. I know you don't have a lot of it. I only sort of pack it in when I'm in London. In a shocking turn of events, King Charles III told the royal family something they didn't expect. The world was stunned when the king made his sister Princess Anne queen instead of Camilla of her title. The public is full of questions about this sudden move. What could have caused such a big shift in the royal family? Does this talk really mean what it says? Or is this just something that people made up? Let's find out. Problems with the way the British monarchy is set up. While the British monarchy is known for its long history and customs, it has also always been a place where siblings fight, the public pays attention, and people have personal problems. As Queen Elizabeth's oldest son, King Charles has been in the spotlight a lot. His sister, Princess Anne, has been a more low-key but still important member of the royal family. Princess Anne has made a name for herself with her straightforward approach and unwavering dedication to her royal tasks. Even though her more famous cousins get more attention, her hard work behind the scenes is clear to see. It looks like Princess Anne is finally getting some attention in a way we have never seen before. The sovereign in the modern era. The current framework of the British monarchy is important to know before getting into the specifics of this crazy rumor. When Queen Elizabeth II died in 2022, it took decades for her son, King Charles III, to take the throne. Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, his longtime partner, was made Queen Camilla, as the late Queen had asked, and with Parliament's approval. This change seemed to go smoothly, which is typical of monarchies that like things to stay the same. Even though there were rumors of discontent from some people, the public and the royal family seemed to back King Charles and Queen Camilla strongly. She kept serving with honor and did her job with grace and commitment. While other family members got more attention, she stayed true to her promise to serve the crown. Not many people thought that her royal status would change. But the newest reports say that something unexpected has happened that could change Princess Anne's role in the throne. People are very interested in and talking about the thought of her taking the throne. But to really understand why this situation is getting so much attention, we need to look at Princess Anne's important role in the royal family and how people have thought about her over the years. Could this be the start of a new part of the monarchy's story? How Princess Anne grew up and went to school. The full name of Anne Princess Royal is Anne Elizabeth Alice Louise. She was born at 11:50 a.m. BST on August 15, 1950, at Clarence House, while her grandpa was King George VI. She is the only daughter of Princess Elizabeth, Duchess of Edinburgh, who would later become Queen Elizabeth II, and Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. To mark the birth of the future Princess Royal, a 21-gun salute rang out through Hyde Park. Anne was blessed on October 21, 1950, in the music room of Buckingham Palace by Cyril Garbett, who was Archbishop of York. Anne was third in line to the British throne when she was born after her mother and older brother Charles, who later became King Charles III. When her grandfather died in 1952 and her mother became queen, Anne moved up to second in line. She is 17th in line to become queen right now. Catherine Peebles was Anne's governess when she was young. She took care of her and her brothers Charles, Andrew, and Edward and oversaw their early schooling inside the walls of Buckingham Palace. Because Anne was so young, she did not go to 1953 to see her mother become queen. A Girl Guides company was set up at Buckingham Palace just for her in May 1959, following in the ways of her aunt and mother. The company, which had the Holy Trinity Brompton Brownie Pack, gave Anne a chance to meet other girls her age until she went to boarding school in 1963. As of 1968, Anne had earned 6 GCE O-levels and 2 A-levels from her time at Bennington School, which she started in 1963. She began her life of public service when she turned 18 years old in 1969 and began her royal tasks. In the early 1970s, Anne dated Andrew Parker Bowles for a short time. Andrew would later marry Camilla Shand, who would become Charles' future wife and queen consort. During this time, she was also tied to Olympic horse rider Richard Meade. Public appearances by Anne. There are a lot of things that Princess Anne does for the government. She is often called the hardest working royal. At the time, Kevin S. McLeod was the Canadian Secretary to the Queen. He talked about Anne's work ethic, saying, "Keep me busy. I'm here to work. I'm here to do good things. I want to meet lots of people." In fact, in December 2017, it was said that Anne had done more official duties than any other royal family member that year, even more than her mother, Queen Elizabeth II. Her unwavering dedication has taken her all over the world, including to Norway, Jamaica, Germany, Austria, New Zealand, and Australia. When Anne went to the opening of an educational and training center in Shropshire in 1969, it was her first official event as a public servant. After she graduated from high school, she began serving the UK abroad. That same year, she went to Austria with her parents on a state visit. After that, she went on her first tour of Australia in 1970. Since then, she has been back many times for public reasons, such as her job as colonel and chief of an Australian regiment. One visit that stands out is the one she made to Melbourne in 2009 to attend the National Memorial Service for the victims of the Black Saturday bushfires. As the first member of the British royal family to visit the Soviet Union, Anne made history in 1990. President Mikhail Gorbachev greeted her there. She kept up formal ties and went back to Russia in August 2016 to mark the 75th anniversary of Operation Dervish, which was one of the first wartime Arctic convoys. Her royal duties have not been easy. In September 2016, she had to cancel several events because of a chest sickness. But she got back to work quickly and went on a 2-day study trip to Sarawak, Malaysia in October 2016. Anne and her husband went on a trip to Australia and Papua New Guinea in April 2022 to celebrate the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. History was made on September 12, 2022, when Princess Anne stood guard over her mother's body at the vigil of the princes at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. She was the first woman to do so. On September 16th, she held the same gathering at Westminster Hall. Anne also signed Queen Elizabeth II's death record at Balmoral as an informant. This shows how personally connected she felt to this event in history through Princess Royal's patronages. She is known for how hard she works to help others and is involved with more than 200 causes and groups. In her long-time dedication to save the children, which she led as president from 1970 to 2017, and has since continued as a patron, her desire to help others comes through. Anne has helped out with charity work in Bangladesh, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Mozambique, Ethiopia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina, among other places. Because of how much good she did for others, Kenneth Kaunda, who was president of Zambia at the time, put her forward for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1990. Anne started the Princess Royal Trust for Carers in 1991. Since then, it has helped a huge number of people who take care of family members with special needs. As Commandant-in-Chief of the Cadets for St. John Ambulance, she does another important volunteer job that stands out. Through this group, Anne actively supports and encourages the growth of young people, and she attends the annual Grand Prior Award reception to recognize their hard work. In addition, she is a supporter of St. Andrew's First Aid, a charity that trains people to save lives. In 2021, Anne became the patroness of Mercy Ships, an international charity that runs the world's biggest non-governmental hospital ships and helps people in need get free surgeries and medical care. Anne is well known in the world of sports, especially through her work with the Olympic movement, in addition to her nonprofit work. She works for the British government in the International Olympic Committee (IOC). Being very important as a boss, she is also head of the British Olympic Association and served on the London Organizing Committee for the 2012 Olympics. She was proud to serve Great Britain at the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia. She cares about sports in more ways than one. She has been the patron of the Riding for the Disabled Association for 14 years and has been their head since 1985. She is also very involved with student sports because she is the patron of sports at British universities and schools. Anne has the same strong effect on school. She was chosen by graduates of the University of London to be Chancellor after the Queen Mother retired in 1981. She has been in that role ever since. She also became president of the British Academy of Film and Television Arts BAFTA, which is a very important job, between 1973 and 2001. The things she did for the church are also very important. Anne was appointed as Her Majesty's High Commissioner to the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland in May 1996. She kept this job until 2017. In 2007, Queen Elizabeth II made her Grand Master of the Royal Victorian Order, a high honor that Anne's grandmother had held before her. Anne has a big impact on both the scientific and academic groups. She was made a Royal Fellow of both the Royal Society and the Academy of Medical Sciences. The Academy of Medical Sciences made her the first Royal Fellow in its history. Anne is one of 4 Royal Fellows of the Royal Society as of 2022. The other 3 are her brother King Charles III, her nephew Prince William, and her uncle the Duke of Kent. Anne was chosen Chancellor of the University of Edinburgh in 2011. She took over from her father, the Duke of Edinburgh, who had stepped down in 2010 and continued the academic tradition of her family. Aside from being president of the Royal Society of Arts, she was also master of the Corporation of Trinity House and president of the City and Guilds of London Institute, all in the same year. Once more, all of the jobs her father used to have. In addition, Anne is still president of the Commonwealth Study Conference, which was started by her father. Finally, she took over as head of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission from her uncle, the Duke of Kent, in 2023. Princess Anne continues to live up to the spirit of service with an unmatched work ethic and a strong sense of duty. Anne's public image and style make sure that her part in the royal family is still as important as ever. Princess Anne has a reputation for being the most reliable member of the royal family and a shining example of traditional public service. This reputation comes from her years of hard work and dedication. Anne has been to over 20,000 public events since she turned 18, which shows how dedicated she is. Despite being born into a royal family, Anne has always been different. She was called a royal renegade. When she was a young adult, because she didn't want royal names for herself or her children, even though she was the heir's spare. This choice, which is very uncommon in the royal family, showed that she wanted to live a more normal and approachable life. She did not always get along well with the reporters, though. Anne was often painted as cold and haughty when she was a young royal. The press even called her royal rudeness. Anne famously told a group of cameras to faff off at the 1982 badminton horse trials, which made the event stand out. At the time, this caused a lot of trouble, but it also made her look like someone who isn't afraid to say what she thinks. According to Vanity Fair, Anne got her famously sharp tongue and waspish wit from her father. This added to her image as a straightforward and no-nonsense royal figure. Anne said it took her about 10 years to fully trust her role as a public servant after thinking about her early years in the job. She said that her job with Save the Children required her to have a deep understanding of how the group worked in the real world, which took some time to learn. Early trips to see the charity at work were very important in giving her this useful information. Many people think that Anne is the most hardworking royal, and the sheer number of tasks she has taken on shows how hard she works. Over the years, from 2002 to 2022, she attended 11,088 events, which is more than any other royal family member. Because she does her job so well, she is one of the most loved royals in Britain. Editor of The Telegraph, Camilla called her a national gem and one of the most interesting people in Britain. Tumity said that Anne's behavior in public is a strange mix of following the rules very carefully and being ready to break them when needed. This contrast in who she is makes her more interesting and special. Anne's normal, friendly personality shows in more than just her public appearances. People know that she drives herself to events and makes sure that she does her own hair and makeup. So fast that she's been fined twice for it, even though she says she was in a hurry because she was running late for royal meetings. She also stands out because she doesn't shake hands with people she meets on walkabouts, saying that it's not possible to greet everyone this way. People often see her doing normal things like fixing fences at her home in Gatcombe or waiting in line for the portable toilets at her daughter's horse events. Her hands-off attitude hasn't hurt her popularity. A lot of people like Anne because she is approachable and sensible. She is also different from other royals because she supports causes that aren't as well known. She supports groups like the National Lighthouse Museum and the Wet Wheels Foundation, which works to make sailing more available. This shows that she cares about issues that aren't always in the public eye. In interviews for her 60th and 70th birthdays, Anne was asked about her plans to retire. She strongly rejected the idea, citing the examples of her parents and reiterating her dedication to her royal responsibilities. She has shown over and over that her sense of duty comes first, and she has no plans to slow down. People who know Anne well say that she is graceful but also has a firm, no-nonsense approach. People like her because she doesn't put up with fools, which makes her even more appealing. Even so, she balances her sharp wit with an ease and politeness that can't be denied. Aside from her royal tasks, Anne has been praised as a fashion icon for her classic and long-lasting style, even before it became popular. Edward Enninfold, the editor of British Vogue, called her a true style icon and pointed out that Anne supported eco-friendly fashion long before it became famous. Her style is based on being practical and consistent, and she tends to like British names. Tweed and tailored suits are her signature looks. Anne often wears the same clothes more than once. For example, she wore the same famous flower dress to 2 weddings in 1981, and again at the wedding of Lady Rose Windsor in 2008. She also supports the UK Fashion and Textile Association and likes clothes with big patterns and bright colors. Her style often shows off her love of horses and her busy schedule. In the 1970s and 1980s, Anne wore cardigans, dresses with puffy sleeves, and clothes with bright flower prints, aligning with the dress trends of the time. Anne is one of only a few women in the royal family who wears a military dress all the time. The Guardian said that she is almost never seen at royal events without a pin on. The paper also said that her hat choices have ranged from jockey caps to bright, bold ones. Anne gave out the Queen Elizabeth II Award for British Design at London Fashion Week in 2020, increasing her power in the fashion business. Her impact is also shown by the fact that she has been on 3 covers of British Vogue. Her first cover was in the September 1971 issue, when she was 21 years old. The other 2 covers were in May and November 1973, when she got engaged to Mark Phillips. Anne was most recently on the cover of Vanity Fair in May 2020. Tatler named her one of the most beautiful European royals in 2024, which is proof of how stylish and classy she always looks. This solidified her position as a royal-style icon. Who should be queen? Royal family members have long known that Princess Anne is one of the most responsible and hardworking. This is true even though she is not directly in line to take the throne. For all of her life, she has worked hard to support the crown, giving her time to many different charities, foundations, and public tasks. Anne is liked by the British people because she works hard and doesn't waste time on useless things. Before Princess Diana, her late sister-in-law, got the title, some people called her the People's Princess because she was so humble and dedicated to her job. Anne's good name has been carefully built up over many years, starting with the horseback riding and equestrian events she did as a child. Over the years, she has been able to do more than 500 royal events every year, which is an amazing feat that she keeps up without trying to get attention. Despite this, her steadfast commitment to her job has put her in the spotlight and earned her a lot of respect. She didn't try to get attention like other people did. People looked up to her because she took responsibility and worked hard all the time. Many people have wondered why Anne, who was very popular and devoted to the throne, was never given more attention in the royal line of succession. This is especially true when you consider the problems that her younger brothers, Prince Andrew and Prince Edward, later caused. At different times, the public has lost favor with both Andrew and Edward. Even so, Anne stayed strong and did her job with grace, which made people wonder where she stood in the royal order. People were still grieving over Princess Diana's death when King Charles married Camilla Parker Bowles in 2005. The title of Duchess of Cornwall was given to Camilla instead of Princess of Wales as a tribute to Diana. It was hard to find the right mix between honoring Diana's legacy and giving Camilla a chance to find her place in the royal family. Camilla quietly worked to improve her image over the years. Because she worked hard for many good causes, kept her cool, and always stood by Charles, she finally won over most of the British people. By the time Charles became king, Camilla was already known as Queen Consort. While her title was important, it set her apart from the usual role of Queen Regnant, which was held by her predecessor, Queen Elizabeth II. Even though Camilla has done a lot to change people's minds, her role as Queen Consort has never been completely clear. Rumors have always been going around that some people in the royal family and the public have never really accepted her in this role. People often compare Camilla's status to that of other royals who are more popular, like Princess Anne and Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, who is now known as the Princess of Wales. There are still some questions about Camilla's life after she went from being a controversial figure to a respected part of the royal family. One interesting idea that comes up a lot when people talk about the royal family is Camilla's Princess Anne might take the throne instead of her brother Charles. This idea is interesting, but it also brings up a lot of questions. Given the current rules on royal succession, could such a big change ever happen? What would happen to Camilla's title as Queen Consort if that were to happen? With the way the British government works now, the line of succession is very clear and well set. His eldest son, Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge, is next in line to the throne after King Charles. After him come his children. Princess Anne is very well liked and respected, but she is still a long way down the line of succession. Before she could become queen, the royal succession would have to be completely and never before changed. Or, a series of unusual events would have to happen so that those ahead of her either died or stepped down freely. Anne could become queen if there was a big change in public opinion, or if family members made choices that caused royal duties to be moved around. This is a very unlikely scenario, though. Princess Anne is a great choice for this job because she is very well known, has a lot of experience, and is always committed. Anne could be seen as a stabilizing force for the monarchy during a time of change or uncertainty because she lives by the traditional values of duty, service, and loyalty that were important during Queen Elizabeth II's rule. At a time when the royalty is getting more attention and questions about its purpose, Princess Anne's accession could be a return to those basic ideas. On the other hand, reports that Queen Camilla might lose her title in this situation make things even more complicated. Because she is married to King Charles, Camilla is now known as Queen Consort. It is possible that Camilla would lose her title if Charles quit or was taken from the throne for any reason. However, it is much harder to understand why she should lose the title while Charles stays king under the present system. Still, these kinds of stories keep going around because Camilla is often compared to other royals, especially Anne. The big differences between their jobs and how people see each woman are shown by these comparisons. Camilla has worked hard to earn her place in the royal family, but Anne's selfless service, fame, and ability to keep up appearances have made many people wonder if, in a different time, she might have been higher in the line of succession. In the end, the thought of Princess Anne taking the throne without warning makes us wonder and feel excited about what might have been. Today we're going to look more closely at Camilla's life and her place in the royal family. Camilla, wife of the Queen. On September 8, 2022, Camilla became Queen Consort. That same day, her husband Charles III took the throne after Queen Elizabeth II died. 2 days later, on September 10th, she was with her stepson Prince William at the Accession Council, where Charles was officially proclaimed king. The event was very important, and Camilla saw her husband become one of the most important people in the world. Not long after she became Queen Consort, Camilla made an unexpected choice. A practice that goes back hundreds of years was changed by her. She didn't keep the title of Lady in Waiting. Instead, she gave herself the more current title of Queen's Companion. Even though this new job would still help her with official events, it would be less formal and involve less everyday royal tasks like answering mail or making plans. In the beginning of 2023, on February 13th, Buckingham Palace said she had tested positive for COVID-19. Because of this, she had to cancel a few public events, but she was still very visible all year. A few months later, on May 6, 2023, Camilla and Charles were crowned together at Westminster Abbey in a big celebration that millions of people around the world watched. After that, on June 16, 2023, Charles showed his respect by making her a member of the esteemed Order of the Thistle. Camilla continued to stand out at important royal events. In July, she went with Charles to a national service at St. Giles Cathedral, where he was given the honours of Scotland. She doesn't get a parliamentary pension like Prince Philip does, which is interesting. She instead gets money for her efforts from the sovereign grant. In 2023, Camilla went on state trips with Charles to Germany, France, and Kenya. This showed that she was becoming more like Queen Consort. As king, Charles opened Parliament for the first time in November with her by his side. When Charles was diagnosed with cancer in 2024, Camilla took over for him. She made royal history by leading important events like Commonwealth Day and the Royal Maundy Service, which is usually a job for the Queen. It was clear that her role was rising, as shown by the fact that she and Charles attended the 80th anniversary of D-Day in Normandy in June. She is Her Majesty the Queen Consort. That's why Camilla was called Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cornwall, when she married Charles. Charles is the Duke of Cornwall. Where she lived, though, she was called Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Rothesay. Even though she was legally allowed to be called Princess of Wales, Camilla chose not to use that title because people thought it was too linked to the late Princess Diana. Instead, she took on the highest-ranking secondary title of her husband, Duke of Cornwall, but in the female form. When Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, died in 2021, his son Charles took over his father's titles. Because of this, Camilla was also made Duchess of Edinburgh, but only for a short time until Charles became king the next year. At the time of their wedding in 2005, Clarence House said that Camilla planned to become Princess Consort when Charles became king. This was done to show that people had mixed feelings about her. This term had nothing to do with history or the law, but it was used to make her look less dangerous to the public. But as time went on and people became more open to Camilla, this plan slowly fell through. In a public letter in 2022, Queen Elizabeth II said she wanted Camilla to be called Queen Consort when Charles became king. When Charles became king on September 8, 2022, Camilla took on this role. At first, she was called Her Majesty the Queen Consort, to set her apart from the late Queen Elizabeth II. After she was crowned queen on May 6, 2023, Camilla's title was shortened to Her Majesty the Queen in line with the tradition of previous queens consort, the take. In the past of the British monarchy, royal titles have not been easily taken away. People usually have to go through very bad situations to lose their title. Since Camilla, who is now Queen Consort, has worked hard for the crown for years and earned her place, it would be very unusual for her to lose her title, unless there were very good reasons for doing so. There is, however, always the chance that Camilla will choose to step down freely if the royal family structure changes. They might do this because of pressure from the public or for their own reasons. It might seem strange for something like this to happen, but it has happened before. In the long history of the British monarchy, there have been times when people gave up their titles freely for the good of the country, or because things changed in the royal family. If the rumors and speculations about Princess Anne's possible rise and Camilla's possible fall are true, it's probably because of complicated power relations within the House of Windsor. There have always been a lot of complicated relationships within the kingdom, with different groups and family members having different goals and ideas for its future. In this case, Princess Anne's close relationship with her late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, may have made her a stabilizing figure, especially during times of change or doubt. Anne has always been devoted to the monarchy, which has won her a lot of respect from the public and the royal family. People look up to her because she has always worked hard for the crown and hasn't been looking for attention or praise for herself. Some important members of the royal family may see Anne as the best person to help lead the monarchy through rough times, especially now that the monarchy is always being watched. On the other hand, Camilla's role as queen consort has been controversial for a long time, mostly because of Princess Diana's legacy. Even though Camilla has worked hard to improve her public image over the years, a lot of people still don't trust her. A lot of people still think about the rough times she, Diana, and Charles had in the past. It's still fresh in everyone's mind. There may be a push for Anne to play a bigger part because she is seen as a more respected person by everyone. Some people in the royal family, and maybe even some people in the public, might think that Anne's reputation for duty and service is a better fit for the values that Queen Elizabeth II stands for, values that the monarchy might need to accept more than ever. People in Britain have never had an easy time getting along with the royal family. On one hand, people have a lot of respect for the organization and the ways it has been run for hundreds of years. On the other hand, people are still not sure if the royalty is necessary in today's world. In this changing world, Anne's possible rise could be seen as a return to the traditional values of duty, service, and humility that shaped her mother's rule. People are surprised and excited about the idea of Anne taking on a bigger role in the monarchy. Some see her as the right person to protect the institution's future. Her image is almost perfect, which makes her a sign of stability after all the problems Camilla has had to deal with. It hasn't been easy for Camilla on her way to becoming queen consort. A big reason why her road was hard was because of the memory of Princess Diana. With time, Camilla has earned some respect for her work with the royal family, but she has always been in a tough spot. Whatever choice was made to lessen her role or put her lower in the family, it would cause a lot of problems and lead to talks about her future role in the kingdom. Could King Charles really be looking at the royal order again? What do you think? Please tell us what you think in the space below. We'll see you next time.